Okay, today is another Akha recipe. This is called byeh in Akha. It's finely chopped meat, beef or pork, can even be chicken. And we're going to show you ingredients and how to make this, and we're going to tell you what we have and what we don't have, some variations. The first thing off is you need to get at the Asian market some banana leaves, because that's what you normally steam and bake this in, but we're going to use tin foil. That's our main thing that we have missing, and there's quite a few herbs we don't have that we might put in it as well, and Michu's going to tell you about that. But first, let's go with what we do have. We have oyster sauce, salt, seasoning salt. We do not use MSG per se. Pepper. Okay, we have chili peppers. These are serrano. You can use Thai chilies. That's what mostly the Akhas use. We have garlic. We have green onions. The Akhas use their own green onions. That's a unique flavor. And we have yasal, which is cilantro. And we have a piece of beef here. And we have tin foil. Okay, and we're going to show you how this is done. Michu is our chef and from Akha land, and we're going to go ahead with it now, and we're going to talk about variations that you can do as well. And so this is baked up is a cake over a fire in banana leaves, and like I say, it's made with different kinds of meat, but we're going to use some beef today. So we'll just take a piece, and we're going to make a little bit a big batch, because we're gonna share some with Morris, where we're staying, and Georgiana, and so we're going to make up enough for everybody to have a little bit. And so Michu's trimming off the pieces that have a bunch of fat on it, because you really don't use that quite so much in this particular dish. And so she's going to cut this up. And you don't use hamburger, you use meat and cut it up yourself, because hamburger isn't the same. It has a lot more fat than what you want in this. Okay, now so now she's starting to cut it up into small pieces. And we'll show you in a minute what she does to that once she gets it cut up like that. Okay, so now that you've got all the meat cut up into pieces here, we're going to chop this all up into a real fine material. And then we'll start adding the herbs to it. So what you want to do here is you want to cut this up, and you're not really like, this isn't like ground beef, you know. This is more, you're trying to chop it, but you're not really trying to separate it from itself. You're just trying to, it'll be, even after it's baked, you'll see it's a little bit interconnected still. And you're just trying to make like a real finely, mash out of it. You can take a look at that there and see how it is compared to where we've started. And of course, it helps if you have a really heavy table that you do this on, or you put a big chopping block on the floor. The Akhas have really big pieces of wood chopping blocks for doing this, that they work off of the floor, because if you're doing this for a lot of people, man, you're using a big machete and you gotta hurry. Nobody's gonna wait around for you to do this when everybody's hungry. So it's just really doing it's hardcore, man. You're just really making food, and you're not worrying about what you pound to heck like you might with a table. So have a good solid place in your house to do this, like a concrete porch or something, where you can work this meat really quickly, because we still got quite a bit to do here. So you just want to get this as finely chopped as you can, and have a good sharp, heavy. You need a fairly heavy meat cleaver to do it. You can use a regular knife, but you want to be able to chop this stuff without being bashful, man. You just want to really be able to go at it. So you need a good heavy meat cleaver that you might buy in an Asian market for doing this. Another thing about this is that in Akha villages, if you killed a pig today, or the water buffalo today, then after you make this, a lot of people eat it raw because it actually tastes better raw than when it's cooked. It's got a lot more flavor to it, and so it's very common to eat this raw with a chili sauce. Okay, so now we're going to go to the herbs, starting with the green onions. And we use green. Here's an example. See this root? Garlic has a really big root, a fat root, and that's diced up and used in this normally. It's used a lot in this garlic root, but we don't have that, so we're going to use green onions and green onion root. And you just dice this up like this, cut it in half, bundle it together in a big bundle, and just slice it up in little bits and pieces. Okay, and then we're going to do some garlic here. Okay, she's going to put two cloves of garlic in it. Okay, we got 2 pieces of garlic, and we just chop that up right into the meat. Just you can dice it first if you want, but here we're just chopping it right up into the meat. And then we take some chili pepper. Once again, you can chop this right up into the meat. You don't have to lose flavor on the cutting board and then scrape it over and put it in the meat. You can cut it up right inside the meat to where all that juice and everything, you're saving it. Okay, so we got this. Now we're going to put some cilantro in it. Okay, so now we're putting in the cilantro. Okay, so you can chop everything into the meat, and like I say, you need a really heavy chopping block for this, and it's good to do it on the floor because you can just whack the heck out of it. You don't have to like be careful that it's popping off on the floor or anything. You get a big round one about 2 feet across, and it's easy to clean, and it's just really fast. And little cutting boards, they just don't cut it. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to just really chop this in, and you can really smell it now. And there's a couple other ingredients that it would have too. One is a bark of a tree that grows in Thailand, that the Akhas scrape it and they take those shavings and put it in here, and it gives a flavor like it to a ball de bako te chomyoje. Pelo, the pelo tree. And what flavor aje medondo aje ja yoku aje ajo. Hoje pelo do ana sabi biene na hoje lo. Yo sola aje. Oh pelo he do ana yoku lo. Pelo lo mu ya sokolo lo mu ja. Okay, well it has a flavor to it that's unique, and I can't tell you what that unique flavor is, but if you go to Thailand, the Akhas use it in this dish, and it's a flavoring that they'll never make it without using the bark of that tree. Okay, so you can see it's got chopped up. It's got a great smell. You put salt on it. Okay, and then some pepper. We got some seasoning salt. No MSG. And we got some oyster sauce. There's probably some MSG in the oyster sauce, so you're going to have it in some of the stuff that you do. So you can just sort of check the labels depending on what you think. Okay. Then she's going to work that together. Okay, and like you're chopping this all up inside the meat, and it's very different. You don't chop these ingredients separate on a chopping board and lose the flavor. You chop them right in the meat. So then any juices that come out, you retain those in the meat. They go right into the meat, and so you do it together. You don't do them in separately and then mix it all together. It's not the same thing. They'll have several people in the village making batches of this all at the same time to help feed everybody. Okay, we only put 1 chili pepper in this because we have some friends eating it. We didn't want it real hot, but how many chilies you usually put in it? Amia sapitong, amia sapi amidong. Mga yo jimaji. Yeah. Sumsi. Probably 5 or 6 chili peppers, the way the Akhas like it. And you also put, like, if it's pork, you put pig blood, or if it's a water buffalo, you put water buffalo blood in it to you add it to it, and it makes it makes the flavor better. So you put that in a cake into tin foil. Pack it as tightly as you can. And just wrap it up real tight. You want it to really take a shape. When it bakes up, it's going to take a shape in there. And then you slice it. And you can put it in a pan, and you're going to heat it up that way. Alright, we'll see you in a bit when it's done. Okay, so how long do you cook this for? Amia. Okay, so you probably cook this for about 30 minutes with a little water to make some steam so it distributes the heat, and it should be done. Okay, here's some pan-fried fish with garlic. And this fish was dried first, so it'll give it a special flavor. We have some sapitong right here, chili sauce, and ichutagase. And we have, here's the meat cake when it's done. Looks like it's done. And you can see it's got all the herbs in it. Okay, so you can try that and tell us what you think of the taste. Different, huh?
Very good, though.
Has a unique flavor. Have you tasted anything like that before? And that's a really big item in villages, especially for when there's ceremonies or people come over and they're feeding a lot of people. They make a lot of this byeh, they call it. And you have a lot of people making it, and they make all these cakes, and then they got all this to feed people.